Travelling by plane can be very exciting for some people, but for others the whole process can be very challenging and can cause great stress and anxiety. This can obviously be the case for a person with autism, but also for their parents and carers, or people who are travelling with them. Birmingham Airport and OCS are keen to support these people and ensure that everything possible can be done to assist them when using the airport and its facilities. There are some procedures that are mandatory for all air travel customers, such as the security systems, passport and immigration control. However, Birmingham Airport, OCS and Autism West Midlands have worked closely to make any reasonable adjustments to their processes and procedures to take into account the challenges faced by people with autism and their travelling companions. This video will serve as a walkthrough guide for using Birmingham Airport, from arriving and checking in to boarding the plane and departing. There will also be a short guide of the arrivals process. Birmingham Airport and OCS offer escorted assistance for people with autism by prior arrangement. We will show an OCS assistant escorting a passenger with autism who is travelling alone, but families and small groups can also use this facility. This will give you the opportunity to familiarise yourselves with what to expect and give a good visual guide of the processes. If you would like some more general information about autism, please visit the Autism West Midlands website. There are several ways that you may travel to the airport: by car, train, bus, taxi or a lift from a family member or friend. You will need to make your way to the departures hall. This may involve a walk or a bus from the car park, or a trip on the monorail from the rail station. Taxis and buses pull up outside the departures hall. If you need to find a trolley for your luggage, you will see signs showing where the trolley stations are located. There are 3 entrances to the departures hall. Inside can be a very busy place, and lots of people will be moving through this hall as well as waiting around. Inside the departures hall you will find shops, food and coffee outlets, waiting areas, and most importantly the OCS assistance desk. This is where you can speak to staff about any issues related to your travel through the airport, get any information or to access any special equipment. You can also meet with your guide if you have arranged an escort. The trained OCS assistant staff will be at this desk, but will also be located around the airport halls wearing bright yellow tops with the OCS logo. Please feel free to approach any of these assistants and ask for help or guidance. This is the check-in hall and will be the first queue you will encounter. There is a queuing system which may appear strange at first because it is not a straight line of people. Passengers are guided through a winding line through the queuing section. There can be a significant wait, so you may wish to provide some quiet entertainment or activity to pass the time. Also, make sure you have made a visit to the toilet if necessary before you join the queue. You may have arranged for escorted assistance from OCS, and this could include being taken to the front of the queue. Checking in is the process for confirming that you are prepared for the flight, where your flight documents are checked and where you will be issued with a boarding pass in order to get on the plane later. This is also where you will drop off large luggage that will be put on the plane for you into its cargo section. This luggage will be weighed and confirmed as being below the limit set for your journey. If your luggage weighs more than this limit, you may be asked to pay an additional charge. Your luggage will pass through to an area behind the check-in desks to be taken to the plane. You will be allowed to take hand luggage onto the plane with you, but again, the amount, size and weight will be limited. Importantly, there are restrictions on what items are allowed to be taken on the plane with you in your hand luggage, as well as any loose items you may carry. The next part of the process is to be passed through the security checking area. This is a very important process that everyone has to do and is for the safety of all air travellers. There will be another queue to join and waiting times can vary a lot. It may be noisy and crowded with the possibility of warm, even high temperatures. Again, it will be important to check that you have none of the prohibited items for air travel. When you arrive at the security check area, you'll be asked to do several things that may feel uncomfortable or unusual. but these things are important for all air travellers to ensure safety. You'll be asked to place any hand luggage or bags you will be taking onto the plane into a special tray. You will also have to place any loose items like phones, electronic devices, keys, coins and any other metallic items into this tray. You may even be asked to remove your shoes, belts, brooches or tie pins if they are metallic or have metal on them. The tray will then pass through a machine that can see inside your bag or other items with X-rays. You will then be asked to individually pass through a big arch that is a metal detector machine to check that you haven't forgotten to place any items in the tray. But sometimes an alarm sound will go off as you pass through the arch. This will indicate to the security people that there is still something metallic on you or in your pocket. If this happens, there will be an additional check made by an individual security person. You may be asked to allow a security person to rub a small piece of cloth on your shoes. This swab will then be placed into a detector machine and will check for any prohibited chemicals or substances. Once scanner checks are completed, you'll be asked to collect your items from your tray at the end of the conveyor system. The conveyor system is often quite loud and clunky. After the security checks, you'll be offered the opportunity to buy things in the tax and duty-free shopping area. This is called airside, where you can buy many items at a lower price than in the high street stores because you are technically out of the country. However, there may be restrictions on how much of certain things you are allowed to buy. The tax and duty-free shopping area can be somewhat overwhelming for people with autism because there are many bright lights, strong smells and lots of people moving around the stalls and through the walkways. Even if you do not want to buy any items here, it can take a while to get through this area to the departure lounge. OCS and Autism West Midlands have made special arrangements with Birmingham Airport to allow people with autism and their companions to bypass the tax and duty-free shopping area and go straight to the departure lounge. This does not mean that you or your companions cannot go back into the tax and duty-free shopping area later on, once you have settled in the departure lounge. This bypass option is only by special prior arrangement and you will have to be escorted by OCS staff through a special route. Please contact OCS before you arrive at the airport to arrange this. Once you arrive in the departure lounge, you will have several options and services available. You will have access to seating, toilets, food and refreshments outlets, an area where you can watch planes taking off and landing and an OCS assistance desk. There will also be many large screens with upcoming flight information, including the gate number you will need to go to in order to board your plane. There will also be regular loudspeaker announcements for passengers to make their way to a particular gate, but not all of these will be for your flight. Whilst you are in the departure lounge, it will be a good idea to check that you have all the necessary documents for boarding the plane. This will include the boarding passes you were given at the check-in desk, your tickets and your passport. While you are waiting, you may wish to check out one of the great Sky Zone play and interactive areas. Here, you and your child or young person can pass any waiting time, playing games or doing interactive or sensory activities. Please visit the Sky Zone page on Birmingham Airport's website for all the details. Keep an eye on the flight information screens for when you are due to board and which gate you will need to join the queue for. Once you are called to your boarding gate by loudspeaker announcement, or you have seen the screen information for your flight change to boarding, you can then make your way to the designated gate. There will probably be a queue, but you can arrange to be escorted to the front of the queue by contacting OCS before you arrive at the airport. At the boarding gate, you will be greeted by someone who will ask you to show them your documents. Once these are checked, you will proceed to the plane. There are several ways that you may get to the plane itself. Usually, you will go through a short tunnel up to the plane door. You may be shown to a bus that will take you to the plane. You might have to walk a short distance to the plane and up some steps to the door. At the plane door, you will be greeted by a flight attendant who may also ask you to show them your boarding pass, which will let them know what seats you are to go to. They will then either tell you the way towards your seat or may escort you there if necessary. Once in your seat, you'll be required to put on your seatbelt, turn off any electronic devices and make sure any loose items are safely stowed away in your hand luggage. You will be allowed to access these and use your devices once the plane has taken off and the seatbelt on instruction is lifted. Above your seat you will have a light and an air vent. There will also be a blind that you can pull down to cover the window if you are next to one. Once all the passengers are on the plane, one of the flight attendants will demonstrate the safety and emergency procedures. There is no need to worry about this. It is important information and this demonstration will happen on every flight before takeoff. The plane will start to move slowly, usually backwards at first, and will then taxi slowly across the airfield to where the plane will take off. When the plane is ready to take off, you will hear a loud roar from the engines and there may be some vibration. The plane will start to move and accelerate faster and faster until it points upwards at an angle and lifts off the runway. Shortly after the plane leaves the ground, you may hear a clunking noise from underneath the plane. This is the plane's wheels being pulled up into the plane with the doors closing to cover them. You may feel a sensation in your stomach like you get in a lift, and you may feel yourself becoming a bit heavier. As the plane climbs through the air, you may feel a popping sensation in your ears. This is normal but does not happen to everyone. This may continue for a while as the plane starts to climb up to its full altitude. If you are landing at Birmingham Airport for the first time or returning from a trip away, this section will guide you through the process. You might leave the plane in a number of ways, usually through a short tunnel, but maybe down some steps to a bus or a short walk to the arrivals area. Birmingham Airport also offer an assisted passenger service, which could include someone meeting you on the plane and escorting you through the rest of the arrival process. You will then proceed to the immigration and passport control area, where your documents will be checked by Border Force personnel. You could be faced with a long wait in a winding queue, and there will be lots of people in official uniforms, a bit like police officers, making sure everyone is safe. You will eventually go to a desk where an officer will check your documents. You will then pass through into the luggage collection hall, where you will be shown which carousel to collect yours from on big screens with your flight number. You will then pass through the customs area, where you may be asked to allow an officer to look through your luggage in case you have any prohibited items. After this, you will enter the arrivals area in the main building. If you have arranged to meet someone, this is where they will be. You can arrange for an OCS assistant to escort you through the whole process up to this point by prior arrangement. Birmingham Airport, OCS and Autism West Midlands hope that this video guide will help you to prepare for your journey and give you a better idea of what to expect when travelling through the airport. OCS staff will be happy to assist you at any point. Just look out for the bright yellow tops with the OCS logo.